more black farmers, or let's pretend we have only black farmers, right? I'm talking about the way that the Midwest is going to fall apart without federal funding, specifically all of these farmers, right? But one group that's going to do well is black farmers because they never got all of these handouts. And so I am not opposed to a strategy where we do let some of these rural Midwestern towns kind of fall apart on their own doing and take that as a redistricting opportunity. But think about this. Native Americans, how much healthier would our planet be and our land be if Native Americans had more farmland, which will be one of the groups that have the cash to do so. So I don't know. It's a silver lining I'm trying to think of. I was just trying to think if I've ever known a major farm or plant to have a food recall that was black owned. And if there is, I certainly can't think of it.
They're coming in legally. We have a lot of that going on, but we're taking care of our farmers. We can't let our farmers not have anybody, these people, you can't replace them very easily. People that live in the inner city are not doing that work. They're just not doing that work. And they've tried, we've tried, everybody tried. They don't do it. These people do it naturally. I said, what happens if they get it to a farmer the other day? What happens if they get a bad back? He said, they don't get a bad back, sir, because if they get a bad back, they die. I said, that's interesting, isn't it?
Well, you heard that. Donald Trump is a believer in eugenics. He believes that white people are the superior race. And inner city is code for black people. And he believes black people cannot now work on the farms. I guess they're not good enough for that. So Hispanic people can do it because they have the backs for it. This is what this man is saying out loud in interviews. He is a racist. It's been proven time and time again. The man had Mein Kampf on his bedside table that he would read at night. Enough to let you know where he stands on that. Just more outrageous, racist things from Donald Trump. They want to arrest those who can do the farm work, well, until their backs give out. Then he'll probably ship them to El Salvador or some other country. Just more vile statements from the president and let you know where he stands.
$2 an hour? No. Now the farmers are crying because they can't find any workers. Ain't that something? After you pushed out all of the immigrant workers who actually did the job, now you're standing around wondering why Chet and Kaylee won't come pick your cabbage in 100-degree weather for $4.75 and a Capri Sun? Y'all really thought folks were going to jump at the chance to break their backs for pennies on a dollar. But you know what's even funnier, y'all? Some of these farmers say the American workers they do get, they don't even last the whole damn day. One guy said somebody walked off by lunch, and honestly, I support it. Listen, I wouldn't be out there picking strawberries and fighting bees and being dehydrated just so that farmer could sell those strawberries for $12.99 a box at Whole Foods. Negative. See, they've been telling you this lie for years. They took our jobs. Nah. Americans, you didn't want those jobs. You just didn't want them to have the jobs either. Now look at you, a field full of crops and not a soul to pick them. Next time, think twice before turning labor into a culture war. 'Cause now it's just you and your own damn tomatoes.
Over 4,000 acres of tomato farm across Florida and California. Yep. Sadly, his crops aren't looking too good. All those tomatoes rotting, Nobody's there to pick the crops. And with Trump tariffs, well, they ain't got nothing left to do, y'all, but to mow that shit down. He got to mow all that shit down. Yep. Ain't got nobody there to pick them goddamn crops. Do I feel bad? No. Because that's what he voted for. He voted for Trump. A Trumper. All that shit wasted. All those goddamn tomatoes Gone the garbage. They wasted. All because of that vote for Trump.
Farmers are crying about not getting no help right now. You know what? Let me ask you something. When have you ever heard of a black farmer crying about it? Never. And you want to know why? Because they ain't never got no help in the first place. That's right. USDA's literally admitted to discriminating against black farmers. And literally black farmers had to sue thousands of them to get what white farmers are handed for free. And fast forward to today, all these farmers crying that they can't get no help. You see, black farmers, they've been struggling. Y'all just now feeling what they've been feeling for over 100 years. Black farmers, they used to own over 19 million acres of land. But guess what? Systematic racism, denied loans, shady politicians, and legal loopholes wiped them all out. Yeah. And now they're 1% of America's farmland. When the government finally tried to pass relief for the black folk back in 2021, white farmers sued to block it, claimed it was reverse discrimination. Make that make sense. So, next time you see folks complaining about farm aid, why don't you ask them, where's the help for the black farmers? Ask them why their struggle is just now important when others have been suffering for centuries.
He's talking about on his campaign. We're in the field and on the farm, right? So he thought we were going to take those jobs because we all know what he meant when he said the people from the inner city. We know that meant black people. I mean, there was no point in sugarcoating it. We knew exactly what he meant. So that's why he was trying to put the immigrants out, because he tried to place us there, right? Because he thinks we belong at the bottom. And he really has some black people yelling out, yeah, they're taking our jobs. Like, no, baby. The job that he thinks you deserve is a job that won't take care of you. That won't pay these bills. Nothing. But he had y'all going, though. And that's also why he's been trying to hit us with things like Medicare and school lunch, all that stuff, because he wants us to feel like we have to take those jobs. But then once he saw we weren't taking those jobs, now all of a sudden the immigrants are not the vicious criminals that he made them out to be, right? Now they're very special people. Now they're just made to be in the field. Baby, that is slavery you're describing. Seriously. That they're made to be in the field, and then you say they can't get it back because if they do, they die? Sir, these are people. You're acting like they're some type of farm equipment or something. Oh, but it didn't work out for you, huh? You realize that when you put all those people out and black people was not stepping up to do that, because why? First of all, we got the same bills y'all got. Why we gonna take a job for less? Okay? We're not. But when they didn't, now so you're like, oh, I'm gonna bring them back, but I'm gonna bring them back on different terms. You need them back. That's why you're bringing them back. Listen, if those were the black jobs you were saying that they were taking from us, they can have those. We don't even want them. And you see that now. Maybe I should have thought that through, because I guess y'all don't understand. As y'all evolved, we have to. And you try to put a hold on our DI programs and all programs to help people because you thought we was going to be running out to them fields. Y'all ain't getting us back in them fields. We're not getting back in the field, sir. That's something we're not doing again. So you're going to have to go ahead and figure that one out. Because I'm speaking for all of us, we're not getting back in the field. Just know it.
Mr. Trump.
If the election were today, Frank, would you vote for Donald Trump?
No way. Couldn't happen. No.
You voted for the president?
Yes, I did.
And do you support these policies which might be hurting farmers like you?
Right now, we're the ones that are taking the hit.
I think he's sort of backstabbing the main people who got him into office in the Midwest, and he just left us down.
Look at this, farmers, FAFO, in the deep, deep red state of Pennsylvania, complaining about having no workers. If you did not know, we are short about 150,000 farm workers. Crops are rotting on the ground. Yes, yes, farmers voted for this. Yes, they did. Not once, not twice, but 3 times. If you don't think MAGA is not going to be hurting farmers and in every industry, my name is Christina. And I have a bachelor's in accounting, a master's in business, and I am delivering horrible economic news every single day, unfortunately. There are no white people showing up to work 12, 13 hours a day to pick fruit. Farmers voted for this, and unfortunately, we are all going to pay for this because, yes, we are all connected in our economy. What can I do anymore?
Back on them farms. Let's talk about it. You know what? At this point, we are allowing the top 1% to do what they do to us, because I don't think nobody in the United States should be offering anybody $11 an hour, 7 days a week, 9 to 10 hours a day. And, you know, the crazy thing is, Black people been saying that the only reason why the United States want immigrants here, illegals, is because of cheap labor. And everybody said we were hating because we wasn't hard workers and we were lying and we were jealous. Right there just proves what they were paying, and probably lower, for these undocumented immigrants. America thrives off criminal activity, drugs, and trafficking. We don't have any good minerals and stuff like Africa. So crime helped run this country. You know, how can you become a trillionaire in the United States? Easy. Take your employees' pay. You know, if that CEO from Boeing, if you can get a 45% raise annually, and your lower level employees, 1%, that's how you become a billionaire in the United States. You steal. We have allowed these people to rob us every day, and we do nothing about it. That's why I keep saying that the only way you can stop this type of people is by hurting their pockets. They don't care about the marching. And it's funny how we've had another march, I think, this week in D.C., and that was also not covered. So see, they're not covering the marches where there's white, Mexicans, and all that. They only want to cover the ones with Black people, so they can continue to push the narrative that Black people are the most violent people in the world. And we know by now it's not true. Some of y'all are in denial about it, but it's not true. The people that are in control are doing this, and they want us to purge each other. I think it's absolutely insane that, with these farmers, why didn't they reach out to their family members in different states? Hey, I need workers on our farm. Why not call your family? Why not put something online and just say, white workers on the farms? Why? I thought that we all were slaves at some point, right? So why are you just saying Black people come back to the farms? It's crazy because, like I said, we talk about that racism. You got people saying, oh, Black people just making it up. And it's clear as day.
is that everything that's going on was strategic. They created this whole bad economy because they seen black people leaving the country. They seen black people creating business. They seen black people becoming millionaires due to streaming. And so this is a way to get people back in their place. Nobody wants to work in the system anymore, and they saw that. They saw people not wanting to go into those offices with toxic work environments. They saw all that. And so to hurt the people, we're going to make them suffer financially. We're going to lay them off. We're not going to allow them to have jobs for the next 3 to 4 months. We're going to increase everything around them so they'll be begging us to get back into the offices. See, the real estate company lost a lot of money when those commercial buildings became vacant. And now I keep saying, it's funny how when everybody that was remote went home after COVID, all the LG&E and water went up. So you can't tell me that everybody is working together at the top. And the farmers got shitted on because what they're trying to do to them is really take their land. They don't want nobody to be able to feed themselves. They don't want nobody to live off the land. In my opinion, United States is really a prison, a floating prison. So I don't know, but the farmers, good luck. And like I said, it looks like they about to take their land. That's what it's looking like to me. A land grab, just like they did a land grab with those fires, just like they doing a land grab with these floods. When the insurance want to drop you, this is all because they do not want us to own anything. And this is why I say, why are we still allowing the top 1% to do the stuff that they doing?
Has done more for Black people than anyone else? Well, then maybe he can explain why the unemployment rate for Black people is now the highest that it has been since the pandemic. In July, it hit 7.2%. And y'all, this is directly contributed to that fool's anti-DEI agenda. The bulk of the federal workforce that was laid off was disproportionately Black. But he has done so much. So again, I say, fuck Trump and fuck you for voting for him.
My understanding that wasn't his platform. That's not what he's running on. And I never thought I'd be on the political side of TikTok because it's definitely not something I'm interested in. I'm interested in the farm side of TikTok. Project 2025, I did not read Project 2025 because from my understanding, that's not what he was running on. That's what I was told, and that's the information that I had.
Migrant workers who support our agriculture system. The result isn't just going to be that food's going to be more expensive. It's that food's not going to be as available. When farmers can't find people to harvest their crop, oftentimes their crop just doesn't go harvested. It rots in the field. So we've gotten used to having food, abundant food, available food. We're going to have to get used to some limitations if the plans of this administration go forward.
So much sense right now. This author and journalist was having lunch with friends. There was a white guy and he's married to a Black lady, and they were talking politics. And he says that farmers weren't worried about Trump deporting migrants because, wait for it, they thought because unemployment was so high for Black people that these Black people would run back to the fields and do the jobs that the migrants were doing when they got deported. So she asked, where'd you get that information from? White farmer TikTok or MAGA Facebook memes? Where'd you get this information from? And her and the wife basically started giving him information, letting him know unemployment is only 6.8% for African Americans, and 93% of Black people are currently working. got so caught up in what they were hearing at Fox News and other places thinking black jobs, immigrants are taking black jobs, that they just assumed they'd get rid of the immigrants and black people would take the immigrants' jobs? Sir, our ancestors did not march, die, and fight for civil rights so we could go back to the fields? Like, what? But shout out to the Latino immigrant population that have mastered that labor with skill and stamina. This country doesn't even appreciate it enough. Oh, and by the way, when they do try to hire Americans, black or white, to do those jobs, most of them don't even last half a day. They just ghost them without even picking up their paychecks. True story. So, y'all, tell me, do you really believe that they thought black people were planning to replace immigrants in that labor force if they got deported? Because I need to know who was smoking that logic. What do you think?
When we chose the wrong direction. Oh my God. Yes. It is what it is. Make America great.
The Black Farmers Assistance, we know that in 1990 they passed a farm bill, and then they put in this 2501 project where this program was set up to help black farmers and underserved farmers around the United States. It was set up by the USDA through the Department of Agriculture, but this is a program that the Department of Agriculture have came in to say they're doing away with it because of Donald Trump want them to do away with anything related to DEI, which they still don't understand what that is. But they're changing it up, and I know that this will hurt black farmers, but we know for a long, long time that even though they set this program up to help black farmers to get grants, the black farmer was not getting those grants anyway. So this is something to deter black farmers. Guess what? A lot of them doing their own thing without any government assistance. I know several. If you're on TikTok, go look out there. Find some black farmers and you'll see what's going on. Follow me.
It's not by mistake, but more by design. There's a lot more history to it than we know. So let's get into it. Here are 3 agriculture facts with Rancher Corey. Today's topic, black farmers in America. 1. In the 1900s, there were nearly 1 million black farmers here in America. Today, less than 50,000 remain. We went from owning acres and acres of farmland to barely making a guest list at the farmer's market. 2. Discrimination Act from the USDA Loan Department prevents black farmers from having enough money to expand or even enough money to keep their land. That's like asking for help with a rake and they hand you one with no handle at all. 3. Black land loss is one of the highest raising statistics here in America. About 90% of black farmland owned today is gone. There's not just dirt disappearing. It's wealth, culture, and many a tradition behind it. When we lose black farmers, I lose many of my roots and many untold traditions before me. And that alone is the reason why we should save the farms.
Is causing a ripple effect in California, and migrants are running scared.
Other people are scared right now to come out because of the way he said he's going to take people back home to their country. A lot of people that don't have a document.
And ag leaders are promising that this fear will cause food prices to go up.
Ag leaders say the result of those fears is higher food prices because there will be no one to harvest the crops.
And migrants are already failing to show up to work, bringing the citrus industry to its knees.
After immigration agents conducted several operations last week targeting undocumented immigrants with criminal records, the action made some ag workers too afraid to show up for work, bringing the area's citrus harvest to a virtual halt.
And now food stamp recipients are complaining that their benefits aren't keeping up with the price of food because we don't have enough able-bodied Americans to pick those crops.
Revenue.
Just
Just
left to rot.
Yeah, which is one thing, but it's also lost revenue for the workers that would have been able to pick them had they been here.
Oregon farmer Ian Chandler says about half his usual crew didn't show up this season, leaving him scrambling to backfill dozens of positions.
You're calling them, I assume, individually
Yes.
and saying,
Yes.
what's going on?
Yes. And so
what are they telling you?
Well, in the beginning of the season, it coincided, unfortunately, with a lot of really strong immigration enforcement down in Southern California, where our workforce comes from. And that kind of had a chilling effect on people wanting to move.
While Ian says his workers are hired with what seemed to be a valid ID and work papers, fear of ICE raids kept many of them from traveling north this year.
And there's not enough uproar about it. Farm workers can stay with their owners as long as the farmers take responsibility for them, but they can't have citizenship. What does that sound like to you?
And today I'd like to talk about farm workers. So here I'm in Watsonville on my way to Soledad Prison to do empathy in action. And you can see in the distance here, the farm workers hard at work here in the field. I guess I can't get that. But I just want to talk about the support, the way that the media and certain people in our government are talking about immigrants, and particularly from, Mexico, Hispanic, immigrants. And these are some of the most hard-working people. This is back-breaking work. I've gone to a farm workers tour. There's a wonderful nonprofit called Farm Workers Family, farm worker families. And I've gone on one of their farm workers tours and seen what it's like to have to try to pick strawberries, the conditions that they live in. Our immigration system is broken, absolutely. But we need to give this, because right now these people are working under slave conditions, always afraid to, that they're, the threat of being undocumented in this country. And, so this is the agricultural area, and everyone is like, if you want to try deporting people, who do you think is going to come out here and do this backbreaking work? So I just want to say how important immigrants and farm workers are certainly to this area of California. And I send them my love and respect. And again, check out the Center for Farm Workers Family. It's a wonderful organization. So this is Juju, unscripted, unedited, unfiltered, coming from the fields of Watsonville, and lead with love.
Thank you for watching Great Minds Blacks.